Hello, in this video we talk about how to reshape data frame between long and wide form using melt and dcast function in R. So what is long and wide data format? So for data frame, if all the variables are in columns, then we call this is a wide format. So wide format is very popular and because when we get the data usually comes from a survey data like in Excel form. So Excel table, the data is like a wide format because each row represents and data, an example, an observation, and each column of this row represents each variable. So this is a very standard form called wide format. And sometimes we want to make several variables to be in each row and their values will be in another column. So this is called long format. So if we look at these two tables, so this is a wide format because each row represents an observation and each column represents variables for this observation. So for all the observations, they have the common variable A, B, C, D, right? But in this form, with the same data information, but you can see these four columns have been in row now. So in the row now, their title has been transformed with the labels in the row now. And their values, all the values are filled with another column. So this is called the long format. And in R, we use mainly can use two functions very easily then for the reshaping between long and wide format. So if we want to transform from a wide format to a long format, we can use a melt function. And if we will operate to the opposite operation, then we can use dcast function, which will transform from the long to wide format. So next we go to RStudio to take a look at how to perform these operations. And you can also download this source file, R file, from this website's link. In the download menu, you can find R series download. Then we go to RStudio and open this file. Then we go to the section for reshape long and wide format using melt and dcast. First, you have to install a library called Reshape 2 because both functions belong to this package. Then we load this package. Then we create a wide format data frame first. So wide df equals data frame. There are 5 columns. Each column represents ID and name and test results. Then we can show what this data frame look like. So it's quite simple for the ID 1, 2, 3 and the person's name and the test results for these 3 persons, right? Test 1, test 2 and test 3. So say now we want to set these 3 test labels in the rows and their test scores will in one column. So this is a long form. Then we can use melt function and melt this original wide data frame. Now we set an option called IDVARS. IDVARS, their ID and name. So this means these 2 variables will keep as the same int variable in the resulting long data frame. Then the rest, this also means the rest 3 variables, these 3 variables will be transformed to the long form. So for these three variables, we set a variable name called test type because these three variables would be transformed in one column. So we only set this variable name is okay. Then we also set the value type, value name. Value name means because these three columns variables will be transformed to one column, but their values will also be transformed to one column, right? So this is for the value name. So this label will be used for these three columns resulting one column's value column. So we just run this instruction, can see the resulting long data frame. So now this long data frame has ID name, although there are only three ID, three name because type 1, type 2, type 3, there are total 9 rows in one column. So their 3 IDs and 3 names are copied 2 times more. And because we have set the value name score, so now test results, their values will be stored in one column called score. And there are 3 types has a one column called test type, which this label in the function. So this long form has been successful and quite easy to understand, right? So now we want to transform back from this long form to the wide form original. And we set the result in new data frame called wide df back. Then we can use dcast function. And in this function is the long data frame, and next option is with a tilde form. So you can see tilde form, this is quite usual in R functions like linear regression, and some packages use this tilde form. So tilde form's left side ID plus name, quite similar as in the wide form to long form's operation, which means we will keep these two as in the variable, but we will transform the test type column to the wide form. To the wide form means the value of test type now will be transformed to variable in the columns, right? And their value score will also be transformed back because the values for test type will be transformed to the variables. So these values will be also filled in the values in the new wide form data frame correspondingly, right? So we just run this, and we show the results. So it's exactly the same data frame as in the original wide form data frame, because we set test type on the right side and ID plus name on the left side. So ID and name will keep as 2 variables, but now will be only 3 rows because the values of test type 9 values now has been transformed in 3 columns, so only 3 rows left, right? And the scores in the long data frame will be transformed and filled with the values for these 3 columns, right? Thanks for watching.